What's up guys? I am back with the part 2 of this video. I will be finishing up showing you guys how to make this beautiful orange prom dress. So if you guys are interested in seeing, stay tuned. Alrighty, so basically all we did from the last video is took those pieces that we had cut out and we just went ahead and sewed those darts in to our straps. So that's basically it. That's all we did was just sewed our darts into our straps, and then now we're using the bias tape that we cut out earlier, and we're just putting that on the side of the straps. Now, basically, the process for me putting that on the side is I'm taking it, as we said, it's like 1.5 inches, and we're folding it in half and then pinning it down the side of the straps. So it's folded in half, and we're pinning it down the sides. Now, it's very important that you make sure that you are pinning through both sides of the bias tape and also pinning through the skin tone mesh to make sure that once you sew it together there are no holes in it. Alrighty, basically we're going here, we're going to take our neckband and fold it over right sides to right side. We're going to pin it, and then we're just going to sew down that little bottom area where our pins are. Alrighty, and we're back to our bodice pieces, or our straps, whatever you may call them. And we're just going to go back in and cut off the little excess on the edge, right where our seam allowance is. You want to cut it very, very close due to this being skin tone mesh. Once you flip it over and do that top stitch, you're going to be able to see the extra. And now we're just going to do a top stitch, making sure that we're stitching right over that line of where our bias tape. Okay, yeah, so I zoomed in a little bit, which is great. So we're going to make sure that we're sewing right over that line where our bodice tape meets our skin tone mesh, and that'll just help it to lay flatter. Alrighty, and now we are just laying down our appliques, and we're going to pin those down really nicely. Now afterwards, I ended up adding a lot more appliques once I actually sewed it to the dress, just because I felt like it needed a little bit more. But those are just the two initial ones that I ended up putting on and sewing down. Alrighty, so now we're going to go and cut out that extra seam allowance with our neckband, and then we're just going to flip it inside out. Alrighty, so after we've went ahead and flipped it inside out, we're just going to go ahead and add a little top stitch to the bottom to make sure that you can't see that seam right there in the front. Alrighty, so you want to go in and make sure that everything is centered and make sure that this gap is in the center of our neckband. And after you've done that, you're just going to go in, pin everything right sides to right side, and then we're just going to go ahead and sew it down. And it should look like this after we've sewn it down. So boom. Alright, so as we did earlier, you still want to make sure that everything is centered. but we are about to go ahead and pin our bra straps or our top straps to our actual skirt. So I'm just going ahead and pinning everything, making sure that I crisscross that center just a little bit to help it stand the boobs a little bit better, and making sure that my pieces stop at my side seams. Alrighty, so now that all of that is good to go, we're just going to take our neckband, we're going to fold over each edge, and then we are going to just sew down those little pieces on each side, which is why I said go ahead and add 1" to your neckband. Alrighty, so here is just a very similar concept to the blue dress that I recently just did with the tulle bottom. So we're just going to cut out, this is just a random orange fabric, and I'm just cutting it out into 2 different little strips, basically like a little almost pencil skirt type number. And then I'm just going to sew the sides together, and we will use this to attach our tulle. Alrighty, so basically what we're doing here is we're just going to take that piece that we just sewed together, and we want to attach majority of our tulle to it. Now you want to leave about a yard and a half of the tulle that we've gathered out, and we will use that piece a little bit later to sew actually on the dress. Alrighty, so this is where that little yard and a half piece that we had left comes in. And so I'm going to actually take that piece and sew it to the actual dress about, let's see how much. I'll say about 2 inches from the edge of the fabric, because you still want to leave a little bit at the bottom to be able to attach that tulle piece that we just created. But you don't want to leave too much space to where there's a gap between that tulle piece and this piece that we're sewing to the actual dress. We want it to look like basically just a continuous tulle bottom. We want it to look like one piece, but it's a little bit easier to sew when you just sew one layer onto the dress, and then we sew our tulle attachment onto the bottom. So yeah, basically right now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and sew my one layer on, and then after I sew this one layer on, I'm going to go back and sew that tulle attachment on that 1 to 1.5 inches that is left at the bottom. Alrighty, and this is me kind of doing the best that I can to show you. Um, but here we are using that tulle attachment, as you can see that is on the machine, and we are sewing that tulle attachment to that 1 inch to 1.5 inches space that we had at the bottom of our dress that is underneath that one layer of tulle that we had. Hopefully I explained that correctly and easily, but we're just basically taking the tulle attachment and attaching it to the bottom of the top of the dress. Alrighty, and now that we've done that, we are all finished. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. I have a few more sample dresses that I did specifically to make sure that I had content for YouTube. So I had a little bit of free time and I was very excited about that. So I definitely have a few more videos coming soon. I just have to take out the time to edit them. But again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned.